Welcome to Elevated, a place where the mystical meets the everyday. I am Dawn, a stay-at-home mom to a wild and spirited boy, and a guide in the realms of Reiki, Akashic Records, natural healing, and soulful living. Here, we'll talk energy, intuition, spirituality, but also the realness of motherhood, wellness, and creating balance in the chaos of it all. So grab your tea, take a deep breath, and join me as we explore healing, alignment, and the beauty of both the magical and the messy. Welcome to Elevated. Welcome to Elevated. How are you doing today? I'm Dawn. I'm your host. I hope you are doing amazing. It is Wednesday. It is literally the Wednesday before the last weekend of September. Can someone please tell me where September went? Please? I honestly feel that we just started September 2 days ago. I have no idea where this month has gone. I'm blown away. Christmas is going to be here before we know it. In 5 weeks, we're going to have Halloween, and it sounds like a long time. You're like, yeah, it's 5 weeks, but it's not. Before I know, it's going to be the end of October, and we're going to have Halloween, and then we're right into Christmas pretty much. I just don't know where this year has gone. And I swear that years are getting faster and faster and faster every time I turn around. I remember as a kid, it took forever. It took forever for Christmas to come. It took forever for my birthday to come. I have a summer birthday, so it's smack dab in the middle of the year. I just felt like it took forever. And now I'm a couple months out from my birthday. I don't even know how that happened. We're already thinking of Christmas. I literally thought we just had Christmas a month ago. I have no idea where these years are going. And you know what the problem is? It is harder to get stuff done. See, before when the year went slower, which I really do swear that time was slower, I truly do believe that there is this massive shift that the world is just going faster and we don't realize that, and somehow the clocks are just keeping up. Okay, this is just how my brain works, but just bear with me. And the clocks are somehow keeping up, and that a 24-hour day really isn't a 24-hour day, and somehow the clocks know this, and it's really like a 12-hour day, and we think it's a 24-hour day. I don't know. I just don't understand how it's going by quicker. Does that happen as you age? But I don't know if that's true either, because now kids are even saying that the year is going quicker and faster than it ever did before for them. Is it something that happened in the last 5-6 years? I don't know. Just some thoughts that I'm having about the year. And the reason why I bring that up is because it's already the last weekend of September, which means that all the kids have been back to school for a month now. That blows my mind. Lucky for them, they only have another 9 months of school. But how? How are we there already? I don't understand it. And with the kids going back to school means that we are going to be getting into sick season if we haven't already been into sick season. I don't know how many kids I have heard so far that have gone back to school, and within the first 2 weeks of being back to school, they've been out because they're sick already. What is going on? What is going on with our immunity? What is happening with all of that? I don't remember it ever being September and people getting sick. I'm just trying to think of when I was a kid. Well, I don't ever really remember being overly sick either as a child. I was a child of the 80s, 90s. I was a teenager. I really don't remember ever really being sick. And you wanted to be sick when you were a kid and you were going to school. You're like, I really, really want to get the flu tonight because I don't want to have to go to school tomorrow to write that exam. And how many times did we fib to our parents and say, oh, I'm not feeling very well, just so you didn't have to go to school that day to write your exam so you could have one more day to study because you know you kind of slacked off and you didn't study. How many times did you do that as a teenager? Let's be honest. Almost every exam. Hey, if you had a parent that allowed that, why not? I didn't do it frequently, but I did do it. Mom, you didn't know I did that. Come on. You're not dumb. You knew it. You still allowed it. I appreciate it. I'm going to thank you right now for allowing me to have that pretend sick day. But why I'm bringing this up is because for the last 3.5 years, I've been a stay-at-home mom with my son, which means it's been him and I. We live on an acreage. We don't have a lot of friends that have kids in his age group, mainly because we are older parents. We have one set of friends that has a son that is 7 months younger than our little guy. And that's pretty much the majority of the children that my son has hung out with, was this one little guy. Last year, to start getting him out there more and experiencing kids and being able to do stuff with children and learning how to take turns and sharing and all that, I put him in gymnastics. And we did gymnastics from September to June. And he loved it and he was good. And we'd see all the little kids come in with the snot running out of their nose and they're coughing and they're hacking and they're sick. And every time we're like, oh my God, please don't let him get sick. Just don't let him get sick. Our little guy, when his nose is like slightly running, because unfortunately, and fortunately, I guess, we live out in the country. We live on an acreage, which means that we are surrounded by farmers. We are rural Saskatchewan. We have farmers everywhere. I love where we live. I'm so grateful for where we live. But with that comes allergies. We were just going through harvest. There's also haying season. There's seeding season, all of that. And that brings up allergies for my little guy. So as he's having his allergies this year and his nose is running a little bit, he's like, mommy, mommy, mommy. And he's getting mad. Like, he's getting mad that his nose is running. He does not handle it well. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what happens if this kid has a full-blown sickness? Like, what if he gets a cold? So he's going to play school now, and there's 16 other kids, either 15 or 16 other kids, and then 2 adults. And again, I'm like, oh my goodness, I just don't want this kid to get sick because I don't want him to have to deal with a runny nose, because I don't want to have to deal with him having a runny nose. Now, in his 3.5 years, he's only been sick 4 times. Once he had COVID when he was almost 3 months old. And we didn't really know that he had COVID. He was just super hot. He had a fever. We took him to the hospital because when they're that young and they have a fever, they want to see the children. So we took him in. They did the COVID test. Yes, he had COVID. We just watched him. He rocked through that. Literally, if he didn't have a fever, we would not have known that he was even sick at all. Then around his first birthday, second birthday, and third birthday, yes, within a week of his birthdays, he would get a cold and he would have a stuffed up nose, and that's about it. He'd be stuffed up for a couple of days, no big deal. But now I'm worried about him being with so many kids in such a close area. Is he going to get sick a lot more? Because you always hear that when kids start school, play school, daycare, they're going to get sick a lot more. And I just don't want to deal with it, because I don't want to deal with being sick, because I don't like parenting when I'm sick. I'm going to be honest. Does anyone? Really? Does anyone like being sick and having to parent? No, nobody does. I'm just not looking forward to that. And what I have learned through the last 3 years of having a little guy is really how to keep our immune system as healthy as possible. Myself, my husband, and my son. And what we do right now before he's going to school, the number one thing that I'm doing every day is I'm giving him elderberry. So he has an elderberry syrup every single day before he goes to school. And then in there, I'm putting in the St. Francis Deep Immune for kids, only because I know right now there's a lot more little sick kids. So we're just hitting him up a little bit with that. And I'm only doing it on the days that he has to go to play school. I don't do this otherwise. It's just the days that he's going to play school. And then every single day, he gets a probiotic. And he has been on a probiotic since the day he has been born. And you might be like, why? Why is your little guy, the day he's born, put on a probiotic? Well, in his vitamin D, which apparently every child is supposed to have because they are already deficient in vitamin D as soon as they are born. So you give them their vitamin D drops. His had probiotics in it, and we just kept giving him probiotics. When I was pregnant, I took 3 different types of probiotics. I took super acidophilus, I took acidophilus, and on top of it, I took a probiotic from Garden of Life. I also took their prenatal, and I believe in their prenatal as well, there was a little bit of probiotic. So I just hammered my body with probiotics when I was pregnant because I know how important gut health is. I, at one point in my time in life, was so exhausted and tired. I couldn't get through a day of work. I could not get through an 8-hour shift at work without having to, on my lunch break and on my coffee break, go take a nap. It was ridiculous. I was like, what is going on? Nobody in their mid-30s should have this happening. I don't understand what's going on. So I went to my friend who was an iridologist, which is the study of your iris, and they can see what's going on in your system. And she was able to see what was happening with my digestive system. Now, I had a digestive system where I was constantly constipated. That is not healthy. It was not absorbing any of the nutrients that I was actually taking in because my digestive system was in such a bad state. I can't even believe how I survived that long. Like, literally, I would be eating and I wasn't getting nutrients from it. So through a lot of working with my gut health, improving my gut health, changing the way that I ate, adding fiber to my diet, all of that, I was able to now not be constipated anymore, which is awesome. And my gut health is so much better. And I know that because I used to have eczema super bad. My eczema has cleared up. There is so much that I have done, that I've worked with. And I truly believe that our gut health is the most important aspect of staying healthy. So he gets a probiotic every single day since he has been born. The other thing that we do is we make sure that he gets outside and has sunlight every single day. In the winter where we live, it is a lot harder because sometimes we can experience -40 easily and -40 for a week, 2 or 3. So when it's winter, we don't always go outside. At that point in time, I will start giving him a vitamin D, but until then, we're getting it naturally all the time. We eat a very, very healthy diet. We eat a lot of fruit, berries. Like, he's a toddler. I swear every toddler knows the most expensive food out there, which is berries. I swear the kid knows that they are worth gold, and he eats them. He does. He eats them all, so I can't get mad at him, so that's fine. There's no waste, but oh my goodness. We also eat lots of vegetables, a lot of whole vegetables. He will eat broccoli. He loves broccoli. He asks for broccoli. He likes Brussels sprouts. He loves sweet potatoes. Obsessed with sweet potatoes. We eat a lot of lettuce. He'll eat salads, cucumbers, tomatoes, really any vegetables. He'll have beets, carrots, all of it. He'll do it. Not a problem. I don't have to hide him. I literally just give him the vegetable the way that the vegetable looks. I'm so truly blessed for that. Not gonna lie, so truly blessed for that. We do make our own tomato sauce as much as we can. It is now tomato season. We'll just go to the gardens. We're so lucky where we live. We actually have a garden within 5 minutes of our house, 10 minutes of our house. We're gonna go there. We're gonna get a whole bunch of tomatoes. We'll roast them up. I'll make some soup for the winter. And then I'll also just make some pasta sauce as well with him. And all I do for our pasta sauce is roast tomatoes, take a clove of garlic, take an onion or 2, and roast that all up with some olive oil and blend it. It's great. You can add zucchini. I'll do that as well. Sometimes it's just add the zucchini in there as well. They don't taste it. It gives them a little bit more nutrients and vegetables. What else do we do for him? So every day that he goes to school, he gets his elderberry and he gets his St. Francis Deep Immune for kids. And I give him garlic honey. Last year, what I did was I got raw honey from a local source around our house, and I got a ton of garlic from the gardens, and I bought purple garlic. I don't suggest using purple garlic. Purple garlic, I believe, is a stronger form of garlic. I use purple garlic, and what you do is you poke a ton of holes, or you can cut up the garlic, put it into a mason jar and filled it up with honey, and then let it ferment for a couple of weeks. And then after that, you can just eat the garlic clove if you want. Now, these are huge garlic cloves, so we don't eat them. But what we do is we just use the honey. And the honey from the garlic and the honey, it ferments is what happens. And it helps to boost your immunity. The garlic gives off what is known as allicin, and it's the antioxidants and the antimicrobial properties of the garlic and the honey. So combined, you're getting antioxidants, antimicrobial properties. It helps to fight colds. It helps to fight your sore throats. Again, if you have a sore throat, just take a scoop of honey. Same thing if you have a cough, just take a scoop of honey. And it's also aiding in your digestion and your gut health with pro and prebiotics. So we do that frequently. Every day before school right now, I'm kind of noticing he's getting a little sniffle. I'm like, here, take this. And he's so cute. Like, he does it. I'm so lucky. You don't realize how lucky you are to have a kid that just trusts you enough to take all these supplements or all these natural remedies. And he takes it and he's like, because it doesn't taste good. I'll give it to you. It does not taste good. I don't want to take it. And he takes it every day right now. But I've noticed he is healthy. He is not getting sick. There's no runny nose. He's still good to go, which I'm so grateful for. And without even knowing it, before I did this podcast, I just quickly Googled effective immune boosters for kids. So what do our kids need to help boost their immunity? They need vitamin C. We do a ton of vitamin C, but not in the chewables or capsules, because that vitamin C isn't really true vitamin C. So we do a lot of oranges. Again, sweet potatoes have a lot of vitamin C. We'll do lemon water. We do pomelos. They're basically, I would say, like a hybrid between a grapefruit and an orange. They're huge, like a grapefruit. And we peel them. We peel the skin off of it because the skin is very, very sour. And we just eat the middle part of it. It is pomelo season right now. Get the honey pomelos. They're super good. And we do that. And that has 400% vitamin C. At 400% vitamin C, why would you not do that? They're super cheap. They're like $3 for the fruit itself. So we do a lot of vitamin C. Again, vitamin D, we get our vitamin D as much as we can from outside sources all summer long, all spring, all fall. We are outside as much as we possibly can be. And then in the wintertime, when we can't get out as much, we do a vitamin 3 with a K2. And that just helps you to actually absorb the vitamin 3. Zinc is another one. Zinc is one today where when I went grocery shopping, I was looking at the zinc supplements for kids. And I just have a problem when we're supplementing our children and they're putting in stuff that doesn't need to be in there. They don't need citric acid. I have heard that citric acid is a form of mold. So I try to avoid it, but it's in almost everything. I just don't think that they need different types of sugars and all this stuff that is unneeded in the zinc. So I haven't found, or not even just in the zinc, but in any supplement. So I haven't found a supplement that I'm happy with for zinc yet. Iron is another one. I don't do a lot of iron with him. I got his blood done. We did live blood with him. My friend who's an iridologist, and she does live blood. But what she does with live blood is she just pokes your finger, she puts it on some slides, and she's able to see what's physically happening in your body in that time. And then she can go through generations and stuff like that too. It's so freaking cool. I do that about once a year. And when we did go in the last time, his iron was super high. So we haven't been doing iron with him. No more iron supplement anyways. But this is a kid at 3 years old. He is eating a whole steak himself. He is pounding back burgers within the week. He's eating as much meat as he can. He's not into poultry. I feel like his iron is pretty good. And then, yeah, elderberry and probiotics are the other ones to help with the effective immune boosters for your children. I knew elderberry was super rich in nutrients and it supports the immune system. And we've been using elderberry for 2 or 3 years now, and I love it. It doesn't taste that bad. And I've been giving it to him as soon as I saw or knew that he was getting run down or having a cold. I'd be like, here, take your elderberries. Last year is when we started with the St. Francis Deep Immune for kids. And again, that was only if I saw that he was starting to get sick, we would give him that. And it seemed to just make it so he didn't get sick. Or if he got sick, it was literally like this super mild case of it. I wouldn't even call it being sick. It was the sniffles for not even a whole day. And then, of course, we've always done vitamin C, vitamin D, iron, and probiotics. We've always been doing that. I'm hoping that that's going to help cut down on him getting any sicknesses, or if he gets sick, which I know it's good for their immunity to get sick, but do we really need and want our kids to be sick every other week? Do we? That's my question. I don't think it's fair to the kids. I don't think it's fair to the parents. I don't think it's fair to the teachers. I just don't think that we need to be that sick. Actually, my naturopath said that. He goes, you have dogs, right? And I said, yeah. I said, we have 3 indoor and 1 outdoor. And he was like, that's perfect. He's like, houses with dogs, the kids' immunity seems to be better because of the fact that the dogs are bringing in so much stuff on their paws. Where do kids play? On the floor. He's getting it on his hands. He's getting it on his pants. He's getting it on his face. He's in it, right? And then he's going outside, like I said, playing in the dirt. We're not running and washing his hands every second of the day because you can't. You just can't. And was it not back in the 80s when most of the kids were outside, or even before the 80s, and a lot of people were outside? Our immunity was better because we were getting used to having all of these different bacterias in our system, and it helped our microbiome, and it helped our gut, and helped all of that. And then what else do we do for him to help make his school days easier and better for him? Well, we clear his energy. What do I mean by that? We give him Epsom salts bath. The odd time we'll put in baking soda to help, again, just like with any sicknesses or anything like that. We could do a detox bath as well, which would be Epsom salts, baking soda, and bentonite clay is always good to put in. So we'll do that for him. Let him soak for 15, 20 minutes, put some bubbles in. He knows no difference and he thinks it's great. So it's not a quick in and out type of thing. And then I cut his cords for him and do Reiki if we really need. Cutting his cords, you're like, what is that? If you've never heard of cord cutting, at any point in time, you could be getting energetic cords from another person onto you, absorbing into your energy, connecting into your energy. So if you're thinking about somebody, you're sending a cord out to them. If they're thinking about you, they're sending a cord out to you, and you guys are energetically attached and connected. So what I do is I always try to clear his energy cords whenever we're out and about, shopping, if he's at school, whenever we really leave the house. And it's really simple to do. In my first podcast, in the introduction, I did explain how to do this, but I'll just go over it really, really quick. So what I do, and there's a number of different ways. You can do a meditation. There's one on YouTube about cord cutting. But what I personally do, I just simply say, Archangel Michael, will you please come? And will you please bring your big, powerful sword and remove all cords that are attached to me or whoever you're doing it. Like if you're doing it for your kids, say your kid's name. Any that are set intentionally and or unintentionally by so-and-so or you or by anybody else. Basically what it is when you're saying set intentionally or unintentionally, some people are intentionally sending that cord and some people are unintentionally doing it. They don't even realize that it's happening. Majority of the world, I would say, probably doesn't realize that this is happening, right? So then you just take your hand when you feel that there's a different energy around you. You can just take your hand and you just go from your head all the way down the front of your body. Again, you go back to the top of your head, all the way down the back of your body. I'm a little bit excessive and I do the sides as well. So I'll go down the side of my head, down my arm, around the other side of my arm, down the side of my body, down my leg, up the inside of my leg, and down the other inside of my leg. And I do the same thing for the other side. And then again, because I'm a little bit extra, I picture a whole bunch of cords that are attached to my stomach, and I grab them all. And with my left hand, I hold them. And with my right hand, I chop 3 times. That's just symbolic to get rid of it. You could also wipe your arms as well if you wanted to, just to clear those off as well. That's basically it. Like I said, if you want a more in-depth one, you can go listen to my first podcast in the introduction. And near the end of it, I do explain more in depth how to do a cord cutting as well. With the Epsom salts, that's clearing off energy. So water, salt, clearing off the energy, that helps huge. And then cutting cords, I find helps so much. It also, I find when we put them in the Epsom salts, because Epsom salts is partly magnesium, it helps him just calm down and wind down from the day of being around other people. He gets overwhelmed when there's a lot of action going on around him. I think for him, going to school with 15, 16 other kids and teachers, it's busy for him. And I know it's only 2.5 hours a day, but it's busy for him. So this is how we help just calm him and clear his energy and do all of that for him. And it also helps him stay healthier by doing that. He doesn't have energy going out to try and remove this or try and deal with all of that. It's his own energy, which now his body can focus on just healing his body with that. But what else do we do for him? We can put a protective bubble around him. I don't so much do that. I'm not a fan of always putting protection around my son, only because I figure he needs to understand how to navigate the world and whatnot. I mean, if there was a mean kid there, I would definitely do that, but I don't see any mean kids. I see a lot of quieter, shy, timid kids right now. Yes, there's some kids that are a little bit more outgoing, but for the most part, they all play very well. They all get along very well. They're all having a really great time. And I just don't see right now where he needs that. If there is a situation where I do feel that he needs the protective bubble, yeah, I'll put the protective bubble around him. What is a protective bubble? Well, a protective bubble is basically the idea of putting light around yourself. So you would envision yourself or your child, and you would envision a white light going around them, and just expanding that light out as far as you possibly can. You can also do white, pink, and purple, and that would be a very stronger protection. Purple you associate with amethyst, which is protection. Pink is for rose quartz, which is love. So that's kind of why you want that. And then the white is just pure, clear. So you do the white, the pink, the purple. And then any energy that is coming in towards you or your child would be, the love. If you're doing the pink, right, it would be kind energy, sweet energy, healing sort of energy, that type of thing. And then the protection of all the negativity would stay away. So you could do that. Again, you just picture yourself or your child or your family, and you can literally protect anything. You can protect your house, you can protect your car, you can protect your cubicle at work, even your work building. You can do that if you wanted to. Airplanes, if you're going on an airplane, traveling, anything like that, you can put a protective bubble around you. I literally picture myself here in my house, the light around me going out past my house, out past our yard, out past our development, the city, province, Canada, because I live in Canada. I incorporate all of North America, and then I go out to the world, and then I go out to the edges of the universe. So that's how we're helping him with his immunity and his energy as well. And then the other thing that we do is we work on his confidence. Ever since he's been little, I don't know what possessed me to say this, but he was probably a month old, and he would be laying in bed with me, and he'd be having a hard time falling asleep and kind of crying a little bit. And what came out of my mouth out of nowhere was, "You are safe. You are loved, and you are safe." From that, I've built basically affirmations for him that I used to say every single day. And now I say them quite frequently throughout the week. It is, and copy this down. If you want this, by all means, copy it. You can say it to yourself. I have said it to myself numerous times because it is so profound. And it is what every single person, in my opinion, needs to hear. So it is, you are safe, you are loved, you are needed, you are wanted, you are seen, you are heard, you are significant, you matter, you are worthy, you are enough. I am proud of you. Or when we say to my son, Mom and Dad are proud of you. You are loved for who you are, and you are perfect the way you are. I feel those are so profound. And I know a lot of people will be like, oh, well, you stayed at home with your kid and he never got out and got socialized early. He's going to have a hard time. This kid, the first day that we took him to play school, he's walking down the street. He's got his backpack on. He's so happy with his backpack. And he's walking down the street. He is doing it. He is confident. He is like, I want you there, but I don't need you there. He has never truly been left alone without myself or my husband being there. Someone's always been with him, one of us. I didn't know how he was going to react if I just walked out the door on his first day and he's never been away from his dad or I in any capacity. In the truck, if you need me, I'm just in the truck. And he's like, okay. And he did awesome. He didn't even want to leave that day. The next day, he's walking in. He knows what to do. He's putting his shoes down. He's putting his backpack down. He's washing his hands. He's going to the bathroom. He's doing the thing. He doesn't need me. I watch this kid in the stores. He's like, I want to go look for this. And he's just going to go walk on his own. Okay, that's great. I'm glad that you have a lot of confidence. He is so confident. Now, is it because I've been saying that mantra of you are safe, you are loved, you are needed, you are wanted, you are seen, you are heard, you are significant, you matter, you are worthy, you are enough. Mom and Dad are proud of you. You are loved for who you are and you are perfect the way you are. Is it because I've been saying that since he's been literally earthside a month old? I don't know. I don't really know what makes an overly confident kid. I just know that this kid is super confident. And I'm just going to keep saying that mantra to him and those affirmations so that he always knows that. So that if he ever runs into a problem somewhere in his life, he can be like, no, I am safe. I am loved. I don't know. So that's what we do for him. And that's how we've helped him in the school process of leaving the nest, going to school, staying healthy, which I cross my fingers that we do not have to deal with a lot of sickness. Because like I said, there has been a lot of kids that I've heard within the first couple of weeks of school that they're sick. And it's so funny because my husband, he's an electrician and he works for the school board. He's been working on putting in some portables for some of the schools and he has to be there because the portables are getting dropped so late this year. I don't understand, but they're getting dropped after school has started. So then he has to go in and wire them and he's around. He's like, there's so many sick kids. Like everybody's sick. Teachers are hacking. Kids are hacking. It's like, it's ridiculous. Everybody's sick. And I just was like, it's like September 3rd. They just went back to school yesterday. Like, what do you mean they're sick? Like, what do you mean? So, of course, like I said, I got a little nervous. And so we've been doing the little extras. Again, I am extra in that way. I tend to do things a lot like that. But I think giving him elderberry for the first couple of weeks to make sure his immunity is up, giving him the St. Francis Deep Immune for kids for the first couple of weeks so his immunity is up, I think we can start cutting that back now and just saying, okay, if you look like you're sick, if you're coming home and you look a little under the weather, we'll give you a shot then. Again, the garlic and honey, so simple to make. You have to make sure that it's raw honey, not pasteurized. And if you can get it as close to your house, that is ideal. That always, all honey should be as close to where you're living. But if you can't, that's fine. But make sure it is raw. Organic garlic if you can, because you're fermenting it, so you don't want the pesticides, all that kind of stuff in there, and that's going to boost your immunity as well. You can eat the honey, always take the honey part of it, but you can eat the garlic as well. You can either poke holes in the garlic to get that allicin out, or you can cut your garlic up into smaller pieces and slivers. You don't need a lot of garlic and you don't need a lot of honey to do this, and it lasts a long time. And then again, if you want to keep your kids' immunity up and boost their immunity, get the vitamin C in, but get real vitamin C. Check what is in the chewables. Make sure it is real vitamin C, because a lot of times it's not real vitamin C and you're paying a lot of money just to pee it out. So real vitamin C, oranges, of course. Sweet potatoes have a lot of vitamin C in it. Bell peppers have a lot of vitamin C in them as well. Pomelos have a lot of vitamin C. Again, 400%. That is so easy, and it's like $3 for one of the pomelos. Vitamin D, get outside as much as possible. If you do have to take a vitamin D supplement, take it with K2 as well. Make sure you have zinc of some sort. Sometimes you can get like an elderberry zinc combo tablet chewable. I think it's the brand Orange Naturals. They had an elderberry with zinc. I believe it was them, and I believe that I saw the elderberry and zinc put together as well in that one. I believe it was a powder form. Iron, try and get their iron up some way. If you do iron, always make sure that you have a good vitamin C source, because your body cannot absorb iron unless it's with vitamin C. Calcium will actually make it so that you can't absorb iron. I did not know that. I learned that when I was a week and a half from delivering my son. Watch though too with iron, sometimes it does cause constipation. Berry syrup is always good. And then probiotics. You don't have to go out and buy expensive probiotics by any means. If you do the garlic and honey, that is a probiotic. You could also eat fermented food. Fermented food is a good source of probiotics, and it is a natural probiotic as well. So sauerkraut, if you're going to do sauerkraut, make sure it's a raw sauerkraut though. Organic if you can. Make sure it's coming from a grocery refrigerator area versus it being actually canned and on the shelf. The one that is canned and on the shelf does not have the prebiotics and probiotics in it. The one that is the raw version that's in the refrigerator at the grocery store, that's the one that is going to have your probiotics in it. They make, I think, fermented carrots I've seen. Just trying to think quickly of like different sort of kombucha would be good too. And to get some probiotics in as well. Kefir is good. Goat's milk is good probiotics as well, but cow's milk doesn't have the probiotics, but goat's milk does have probiotics, and it's easier for people to digest goat's milk. Just some information there. And then, yeah, if you need to clear your kid's energy, when your kid actually comes home and they're really upset and they're crying and they're getting mad and they're having tantrums, and I'm sure that teenagers do it too, and I'm sure that school-age kids do it too, throw them in the bathtub. That is the easiest way of cleaning and cleansing their energy. Toss them in the bathtub, toss them in the shower, just make them go get some water on them. It grounds them, it cleanses their energies for them. And then you, as well as a parent, can either teach your kids to do their energy cord cutting, or you can do it for them. And then steal my mantra and tell your kids that mantra every day and see if their confidence grows and how that helps them as well. So those are just some tips that I have to try and get through this school year. Thank you for listening. I hope that you got to take something away from this. I hope that maybe you'll be able to help your family, whether if it's your kids or you, your husband, your wife, whoever is in your family, not be so sick this year. Because what helps to be effective immune boosters for children also helps for adults as well. Take that into consideration. Do what you can as best as you can. And hopefully you don't have to be so sick this year, because nobody likes it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I hope you got to take something away from it. I'm so grateful that you are here. And I absolutely love that you are here. And I appreciate you being here so very much. If you have any suggestions on what you want to hear on the podcast, you can go to my Instagram, which is elevated_pod. Or you can go to my Facebook, which is elevated, and leave a DM. Let me know what you're interested in. Do you want to hear more energy-based stuff with the Reiki and Akashics? Do you want to hear more of the mom type of thing? I am trying to get guests on. That is one thing that I'm working on. Like I said, I'm hoping to get my friend on who does iridology, and she does live blood. Fascinating. So fascinating. If you want to be on my podcast, if you are an energy healer or a naturopath or a dietitian, whatever, if you want to be on, just message me as well and we can connect that way. I would truly appreciate that. And like and share the podcast as best as you can. I have yet to figure out how to get this up to Apple. I'm working on it. My goal is to have it up on Apple by October. Yes, I'm putting it out there. By October, we will be on Apple Podcasts. Until then, we are on Spotify Podcasts. But please, please, please like, share, rate, and review, because that's going to help me out the most as well. And you can go to Instagram, elevated_pod, Facebook at elevated, and you can also go to Facebook Elevated Soul Healing, and you can book in with me there if you want a Reiki session, Akashic Records, property clearing. Maybe we'll discuss property clearing in our next podcast. Thank you again for being here. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.